Hi everyone, so today I want to show you this book here. It's called the Watercolor Ideas book and it's by Joanna Goss. Now it is exactly what it says on the cover, and the beauty of it is that it will introduce you to a lot of perhaps new artists or artists that you don't know of, and they all are contemporary artists. So this book was first published in 2018 in UK, so it's a British book. And let's look at the contents. So as you will realize, the format of this book is kind of like this, where you have on one page the piece of art, and then on the other you will have a little bit of information about the specific style or method. Okay, so basically this content is a little bit difficult to manage because there isn't like a specific chapter on a method or technique, and as you can see, every single double spread is basically new artists. So all of these pages are like that, and then unless you're looking for a specific style of watercolor, then you probably will find it like dry brush, collage, you know, that sort of thing, masking. However, otherwise what I would recommend to do is use the back of this book, which I find easier, and at the back you have all of the artists in the alphabetic order, and then you can find the work that way. So if something catches your eye, like a specific style or a watercolor technique that you'd like to have a closer look at, then you obviously look at the artist and then find the right page. Some of them have websites that you can actually go and look on their website if you particularly like an artist and their style, and look at more of their work. So here is just to give you the idea. I'll just bring it up a little bit closer, like so. So the format of this book is really neat because it's so small. It's great to take with you for some inspiration, even if you're traveling, because that's what I did. I bought this book just actually a few days before going, and I was super excited that I got it. And I did do a couple of exercises from this book. If you're interested, I will give you a little look. So I've done this spread here, which is inspired by one of the artist's work, but this isn't like copied in any way. It's sort of, I tried to do it with my own style, but some aspects of it are inspired by that artist. So let's have a look at some of the pieces here. So it will give you a little bit of information about the actual painting. So here is positioning your brush, and just to give you a flip through, so it comes, the styles are very different, and some of them are really I find really interesting, and I haven't seen them before. So this is, for example, digital art, but you could totally, if you have one of those gold foils or embossing powder or something like that, you could introduce that on top of your watercolor, and that would be lovely. As you can see, you could do it as a stencil, you could do it as a stamp, and then work with that. So when you have a book like that, which is filled with ideas, it doesn't mean that you're going to, you know, fully copy an artist's work. You just use it as inspiration, and if you find something that's quite unique or unusual, you could try it out in your own way without copying every single aspect of the piece of work. So here is stylized figures, handmade paper, watercolor with screen printed paper, colored pencils and watercolor. So that's for a different kind of illustrative style, perhaps for a children's book or something like that. Everyday objects. These are particularly beautiful. Diptych, I don't even know how to pronounce that. This is so gorgeous. I wish I could paint Mason like that. Just looks so beautiful. Again, a portrait that is very, very contemporary. Something like that hanging in your on your wall would be beautiful. So gorgeous. And then Stained Girl. This one is also interesting, embroidery and watercolor. So you can do a bit of watercolor and then pierce holes in the paper and then use some different embroidery yarn to create this. This is beautiful. And just different plays, really. Photography and watercolor. So what's this? I'm not sure how they achieved this one, but it looks like this part might be photography, maybe photocopy it or something like that, and then using watercolor. Poppies, balance. So how to balance color and shapes, splatter textures, salt. It's another fun one. Water soluble ink. So sometimes you can create very striking sort of looks with water soluble ink, because you can just use it for your advantage, or if you want a waterproof ink, that would be a completely different style, because you would see the lines still. Using different sized brushes, so here you would swap to very big ones, very small ones, and that would also help with things. And creating color swatches, so here are a few different ideas you could do. You could do color swatches in different shapes, or indeed, which I haven't thought of, you could cut them out, like hand cut them, or even if you have like a punch, you could punch circles and do swatches on top of them, and then just kind of arrange them maybe into a palette if you wanted to. So that would be a good idea. Working vertically, positioning your brush. Yes, so really, really neat book indeed, and for sure you'll find something here. I mean, look at this hair. Isn't he beautiful? Painting animals. This is right up my alley. I love the colors here. I love the contemporary style of this hare or bunny. And yeah, let's see a little bit more here. Stained edges. So this is a very abstract piece for like flowers. This would make beautiful fabric print. This is gorgeous as well, using a limited color palette. I always find that super satisfying if you limit your color palette to a few colors and just work with it. It will be very balanced. Nothing will be clashing. Painting on found paper, so I guess you could paint on any paper you can find, and then obviously watercolor will behave very differently on that paper. You could also gesso that paper. Let's see that cityscape. That's just gorgeous because it's going from the cool color palette to the warm one, and it's got such a beautiful detail, as well as some loose kind of figure paintings here in the front, which are just silhouettes, and all the detail is in those buildings, and the architecture is just beautifully drawn out. So that's beautiful. And just some abstract pieces as well. Sketchbooking. So let's read this one. Working in a sketchbook is an immediate way to commit ideas to a page. And for Emmy Torgerson, it is a welcome companion when traveling abroad. This image was created while Emmy was traveling through South America with family, and it preserves the sensations or surroundings that inspired her. Bring just enough source materials and supplies with you to create when inspiration strikes. So that's what I did, but this is quite interesting. You know, it's if you have the if you are in the position of being able to create art when you're on the go, then that's fantastic. At the minute, I have a 3-year-old that makes everything impossible. So, right, this is very beautiful as well. This is here. I can see glazing. So first some washes were laid, and then on top of that, I can see some extra paintings. And that's how you achieve this type of thing, or this type of look. And geometry, recreating fabric. Painting fabric is also very interesting and beautiful, because it's one of the most difficult things, I think, because of the folds and textures and all of that, and also the patterns as well. And that's quite interesting. Now here someone cut up pages in the sketchbook. So that's different. Surface design. These I find very beautiful, kind of designs and patterns that you can create. Botanical painting. So this is definitely a contemporary way of painting botanical. And here is the final page, the rule of thirds. So grouping things in 3, I guess, is what they're trying to say. 3 buildings, 3 objects, and whatever else you can spot in 3. So that is it. That is it for this book. It's I think it's an affordable price, $9.99, and you could find it for less on Amazon as always. I will link it for you down below so you can have a look. So that is it for today. Thanks for watching. See you soon.